All right, let's set the scene. We're in this tense, high-stakes meeting. You've got two challengers, Evan and Abby, and they're going head-to-head with an absolute ruler named Poep. What we're about to see is this incredible clash between someone's personal conscience and the immense, crushing weight of institutional power. And with that one question, we are thrown right into the deep end. No warm-up, no small talk. Evan just comes right out and issues a challenge that kicks this whole thing off.
So Evan and Abby show up, and they have a really clear goal. They see this threat out in the world, these so-called Tempters, and to them it's simple. These guys are breaking the law. But Poep, he just immediately flips the whole script. He doesn't see them as criminals at all. He sees them as a necessary evil, part of some grand divine plan.
And this, right here, just lays out the fundamental disagreement perfectly. See, Evan is looking at this like a crime that needs to be punished right here, right now. Poep, on the other hand, sees it as a spiritual test that was set up by the Creator. I mean, they're not even on the same page about what the problem is, let alone how to solve it.
So what's Pope's ultimate comeback? This. This is his trump card. He's not just saying they're wrong, he's saying his position is literally beyond question. He claims he has this absolute, divinely given authority that means whatever he says, well, it becomes the law. Period.
Okay, so how can one person seriously claim to be infallible, to be perfect? Well, Pope's answer isn't exactly straightforward. He starts to lay out this really unique, almost bizarre doctrine that's the foundation for his entire claim to power. Get this, a single blob of magic moving force. I mean, it sounds pretty strange, right? But this abstract idea is the absolute core of his power. He's saying that this essence of perfect authority, it's a real thing that can be passed around. So what on earth is he talking about? Okay, let's break this down. We're not just talking about a title or a leadership position. He's describing a tangible force that literally makes whoever holds it perfect, infallible. And where this force goes isn't random. Oh no, it's decided by a very specific vote.
And this is the kind of strange celestial election process he describes. It's this wild mix of something that sounds like democracy, a majority vote, and then pure mysticism. The second that 61st vote is cast, this force supposedly just descends and instantly remakes the winner into a perfect person, just like that.
But Evan, he's not buying it for a second. He immediately starts poking holes in the logic of this whole mystical system, and he sets up a direct challenge to the doctrine itself.
And there it is. Such a sharp, simple, and honestly a pretty devastating question. If all 120 of these guys are specially authorized and supposedly guided by a divine spirit, then how is it possible that 59 of them are just wrong? It completely undermines the whole idea of the vote.
Now, what's really fascinating here is how Pope answers. He totally sidesteps the mystical part of the question. Instead, he falls back on a very human, very political idea, majority rules. He even admits that all men are imperfect, which kind of seems to contradict his whole point about them being divinely inspired to begin with.
And this slide really gets to the heart of the whole debate. You've got two completely opposite worldviews. On one side, Evan believes truth is something real that anyone can discover by listening to their conscience. On the other, Pope says truth is whatever he says it is. It's not something you find, it's something that is commanded.
So, with the logic of a system being picked apart, Pope pivots. He changes tactics. He stops trying to explain and moves right onto the part that's not up for debate, the absolute, total necessity of blind obedience.
And here's his justification. He's basically saying this dictatorship is a practical necessity because the followers are like children. He calls them unworthy, worthless members. He claims they can't find the truth on their own, so they need a perfect leader to keep things in order and make the whole system look credible.
Evan's question just cuts right through all of that. Why keep a system that depends on its followers being weak and uninformed? Why not actually empower them, teach them how to find the truth for themselves? Pope doesn't have an answer for that. He doesn't even engage with the idea of teaching his followers. Instead, he just lays out exactly what will happen to anyone who steps out of line.
And the punishments, they get serious, fast. First, you'll be sanctioned. Then, you'll be cast out. And then there's the most ominous one. He'll attach the sanction of anathema to his decree, which is basically a formal curse, demanding you agree with him or face spiritual ruin.
And this is the system's ultimate failsafe. And frankly, it's terrifying. Even if the leader is corrupt or just plain wrong, his followers can't do a thing about it.
They can't remove him, they can't judge him. All they can do is quietly resist and hope for some divine intervention that might never actually show up.
So all of this brings us to the climax of the whole confrontation. The entire weight of Pope's complicated, supposedly infallible system is resting on one single, very fragile, and absolutely critical point.
And this is Pope's final word. It's not an argument anymore, it's a chilling warning. Disobeying him isn't just a difference of opinion, it's a serious transgression and danger. He leaves zero room for anyone to disagree.
So after all the complicated doctrines, the shaky logic, and the serious threats, it all boils down to this one single provocative thought. The whole system is built to be perfect and unchallengeable, but it all hinges on one single human being. And that leaves us with the most important question of all.